Hi guys, it's Lydia, and I'm here today in my bedroom. I don't normally record in here. I think I've maybe recorded 1 or 2 videos in my bedroom. I'm usually either in my classroom or out and about in the world because I'm spending money. But today I decided to record in my room because I am not going to be going anywhere. I'm actually just staying at home today, chilling, relaxing, all cool, shooting some b-ball outside of the school. Just kidding. Okay. I'm just gonna have like a sit down chit chat kind of video, and I'm going to kind of talk about my school year. I'm going to talk about what I'm going to be teaching next year and what the plans are, and as well I will be talking about my student teacher situation, or not situation, what it was like having a student teacher this year in my classroom. But before I do that, I'm going to show you some stuff that I've purchased over the last couple of days, and or the last couple of months, let's say, and it's stuff that I'm going to be using next year in my classroom. Some of the stuff I showed you in my last video, which was like my Michael haul or whatever. I'm not going to show you that stuff again, but that is part of the stuff that I've purchased so far for my classroom. I'm also recording on my cell phone because my camera is in my classroom. I forgot it when I packed up all my stuff, but I'll get back to that in a second. So right now I'm just going to show you the stuff that I've purchased for next year. It's not specifically stuff for my classroom or like my students or classroom decor. It's more like teacher things that I've purchased that I just wanted to share with you guys. If I can find links to things, if you want them, I can send them to you. But most of these things I've purchased like actually out there in the world, and not online. But yeah, I will show you those things and we'll get into it. I don't know, this is a little bit weird. I'm not used to filming at home, and my grandmother's home right now. She's outside, probably watering the garden. But anyway, I'm going to show you guys what I bought. So the first thing that I'm going to show you is my teacher planner. Now, in my last video I talked about how I was at Michael's, all the planner stuff was on sale, and I wasn't going to buy a teacher planner because I normally make mine, but then they had the happy planner, and they make the teacher planner in the classic size. So I did buy it in the classic size. So I waited a couple of days because I wasn't sure if it was like an impulse buy or not, and I decided I was going to open it, I was going to start setting it up, and I was going to see if I liked it. As I opened it and I started setting it up, I realized, hey, Lydia, you can't print like things off of your computer and just pop them into this planner because it's a lot smaller. So I was like, whatever, I'll just cut the pages so that they fit into the planner. But then I was like, that's kind of annoying to have to do that every single time, and if we get papers at meetings or anything like that, I'm not going to be able to just like stick them in, or I'm going to have to fold them, and that's annoying. What I liked about my planner last year is that it was like a full-size planner that I made, and I could just, if I got a piece of paper, just hole punched it and stuck it in, which was like super, super convenient. So with that planner, as I started setting it up, I realized I wouldn't be able to do that. So I went back to Michael's because I wanted to get the full-size planner. Now, when I went to the Michael's that I originally bought it at, they didn't have any planners at all left because the planners had gone down from 30% off to 50% off. So like they were cleared out. They didn't have teacher planners, they didn't have student planners, they didn't have like personal planners, they didn't have anything. So I was like, oh great. So I drove all the way to the other Michael's that I don't normally go to and went there. And when I got there, they had the full-size teacher planner for the happy planner, but they only had the one that had like the red rings and it had like the apple and it has like the white cover. I don't know if I can find a picture of it. I'll stick it right here. Probably won't stick it there because I probably don't know how to do that. But anyway, and I don't like that. I don't like the color red. I don't like things that are the color red. I had red hair for like 4 years, but that's pretty much the extent of red stuff that I like. So then I had to go to work. This story is becoming very long. I went to work. I work at Sephora in the summer. I worked, and then after work, I was thinking about it. I really didn't want this classic size planner, so I decided to drive all the way to the next town, which is like 30 minutes away, to the Michaels that they have there. Like, as soon as you walk in, there's like the planner section. But it wasn't there. So I'm walking around. It's like the store's about to close, and I'm looking everywhere, and I found one planner. One teacher planner, and there was like maybe 2 personal planners, but there wasn't any there. This isn't the teacher planner that I wanted. I wanted the one that was like striped or whatever, but they didn't have it. So anyway, I ended up getting this one. So I exchanged it and got the big version here. Now, the good thing about it is I think these are rose gold, and I bought the rose gold like metal discs, and my cover for my planner from last year is like the hard rose gold cover, so it does match, which is fantastic. It is cute. It's pastel, and I'm not like the biggest pastel fan, but I definitely like this one better than the red apple one because I don't like that. Anyway, so that's the first thing that I got. I just exchanged the small one and I got the bigger one. And I'm a little bit happier about it. I haven't opened it. I'm probably going to open it after this video and start setting it up for next year. And if you guys want a video on how I set up my planner and the additional things that I add to my planner, and the additional pages that I use to help me plan for the school year, let me know and I will record that, because the planner that I have posted on my Teachers Pay Teachers is the one that I used 2 years ago. The one that I currently use is very different. It's like completely revamped. It's not so much like the day plans, but more so the additional things that help you plan monthly, setting monthly goals and all that stuff. So if you want to see that, let me know. I will record a video about that, okay? So the next thing that I got, let me locate it, and I will show you because it's pretty exciting. Okay, sorry, I had to relocate or like readjust my camera. So the first thing that I have here is the rest of them are books that I want to show you. So the first book that I have is a picture book that I bought at Indigo, and it is a book about an indigenous it's an indigenous story, and in Canada, specifically in Ontario, I'm not sure about other places in Canada, but this coming school year, they're releasing a new kind of guide to help teachers teach Indigenous perspectives in our classrooms, because it is something that is not well represented in our curriculum, and specifically in science and social studies, and we do talk about Indigenous perspectives and the role Indigenous people played in Canada, but I feel like a lot of teachers in Canada and Ontario, because we weren't properly educated on it, have reservations about teaching it or telling somebody else's story and all that stuff. So I've been out on the lookout for some different picture books that talk about different Indigenous stories that I can share with my classroom, or I can share with other teachers in my school or the students in my class. So the first one that I found was this book here, and I did get it at Chapters or Indigo. And the cool thing about this book is that all the paintings in here are oil paintings. And it's a really good book, and it also comes with a CD, and the CD is read by Robbie Robertson, who is a musician, and he's a guitarist, for the band called The Band, if you've ever heard of them. Anyway, I'm super excited to bring this book into my classroom and share it with my students next year. It's a really good story. So continuing on that note of indigenous perspectives, wow, I can't speak. The next book that I'm going to show you, I got when I visited a school in Toronto this past year with some of the teachers from my school as well as my administrator. So when I was in university, I went to the University of Toronto. I was lucky enough to visit this school with my cohort, and at the time I wasn't really into it. I was in my second year of university and I was like, oh, this is boring, blah, 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 whatever. And I didn't really appreciate what was happening in this school. But then now, after teaching for 5 years, I have a greater appreciation for what this school did. So I definitely wanted to take advantage of the fact that I knew who was working at this school, and I definitely wanted to go back and visit and learn some more from them and actually be able to take what they do there and apply it in my own teaching practices. So the school that we went to is a fully inquiry-based school, and that is ideally what our administration, or my administration at my school, wants to move towards. We do have inquiry-based programs in kindergarten, but his vision in his vision, he talked about how he wants to have a fully inquiry-based school. So it was really cool that we were able to get the opportunity to go to the school, talk to the teachers there, talk to the administration there, and really get an understanding of like how they implement inquiry from kindergarten all the way up to grade 8 or kindergarten to grade 6 or whatever. So the second book that I got is the second edition. So I have the first edition of this book, and it's called Natural Curiosity, and I actually think I have it in here. If I can find it, I'll show you what it looks like. And it's actually online for free in PDF form if anybody wanted to look that up. But that is just the first edition. It's a great resource. I have read it. It talks about environmental inquiry and how you can incorporate environmental inquiry into your classroom and the benefits that it has for your students and their development. So they came out with the second edition, and the thing that I love about the second edition is that it is Natural Curiosity, second edition, and then it's a research for education. And this guide actually takes into consideration Indigenous perspectives. Sorry, my phone got cut off. So again, this book kind of goes on about how we are not the primary keepers of Earth. Earth is the keeper of us, and we are not supposed to be taking from the earth, but rather thinking about how we can give back to Earth, and we are seen as visitors of Earth as opposed to inhabitants, if that makes any sense. Anyway, it's a really cool book. The first half of it goes on about what inquiry is, what environmental inquiry is, and how Indigenous perspectives are important when thinking about environmental inquiry. And the great part of this book, as well as the first edition, is that at the back of this resource, let me go to the page, it, for the second half of the book, I want to say, is, oh my goodness, I can't find it. One second. Here we go. So, I don't know if this is backwards, but it's environmental inquiry in action, and then it also says the educator's story. So, it goes on and on and on about different stories of different teachers and how they use environmental inquiry in their classrooms. And it has very specific explanations, examples, and some really cool pictures that go along with it. So you can actually see how environmental inquiry is put into action in the classroom. And one of the big things that I find when we get resources or we get books from different PDs is that they give you all this information, but then they don't actually show you how to implement it into your classroom or how it has been implemented. And then there's always like a disconnect, and you're like, wow, this is a really great idea, but like, I don't know how to implement this into my classroom. So the cool thing about this book is that the second half of it is all teacher stories, and it's teachers telling you what they have done with examples, which is great because it's a pretty hefty book, and I'm not going to sit here and read all of it. I'm more interested in how to implement it, if that makes sense. Anyway, great book. I believe this is like $50 or $60. It is available to buy online. And like I said, if you are wanting to like take a look at it before you purchase it, the first edition is available for free online. Just type in Natural Curiosity PDF and it will pop right up. Okay. On to the next. I love sitting on the ground when I record, but the only thing is, what ends up happening is that I say crisscross applesauce and then my leg falls asleep. Ugh. So the last thing that I have to show you is another book, and if anybody knows me or knows my life or understands me as a person, they understand that I am a math nut. I love math. I love teaching math. I love everything about math. I am a very artsy-fartsy person, but when it comes to teaching, I would probably say that math is my favorite subject to teach. I love teaching language. I love teaching social studies and science. But if I had to pick, I would say math is probably my favorite subject to teach. I always have a lot of fun with my kids in math. And I think that it's my favorite subject to teach because when I grew up, it was my least favorite subject to do. So I enjoy figuring out how to make it fun, and I'm always looking for new and cool and fun ways and creative ways to teach math. So the next book that I got, I also did a video back in the day, a long time ago, probably last summer, about a math 3-part lesson plan, and I kind of walked people through how I created a math 3-part lesson plan, and I showed you some resources that I use in my classroom by Miriam Small, and it was the open-ended questions books that are for primary and for junior classes, which are amazing. It's great because it does have an action, a minds on, an action, and a consolidation piece, so it really gets kids talking about math. Now, sorry, I'm like rambling because I get excited. I'm not sure about other people, but for the kids at my school, one of the biggest struggles we have with kids in math is their ability to talk about math and explain their understanding and explain how they visualize things in their mind in regards to math questions. So one of the things that I really focus hard on in my class is communication in math. And it's not necessarily communicating like, oh, first I added this question. If the question was like, I don't know, Johnny had 3 apples, he gave 2 to his sister, how many does he have left? Well, Johnny had 3 apples, and if he gave his teacher or his sister 2, he would only have 1 left because 3 minus 2 is 1. Okay, that's not communication. There's a big misunderstanding or I don't know. I get very passionate about this because it's one of the things that I find once students are able to communicate better in math, they become so much more confident in their math abilities. Sorry, I rambled for 3 minutes. Anyway, for the next resource that I purchased this off of Amazon, and it's called Mindset Math, and it's written by Joe Bowler, Jen Munson, and Kathy Williams. And this is what it looks like. I got the grade 4 version, and this book is specifically talking about visualizing and investigating big ideas in math. So because my school is going towards a fully inquiry-based model, what we really focus on is the big ideas in our curriculum. And the big ideas in language and social studies and science are very easily selected or very easily found because you're teaching specific things. But in math, it's a little bit more open. And some people have difficulty identifying what the big ideas. I'm going to sneeze. Have difficulty identifying what the big ideas in math is. So I purchased this because I just wanted to see what it was about, and I started reading it, and I love it already. It's fantastic. So the way that it works is it's not necessarily targeted towards Canadian curriculum, but it's definitely able to be used in, I would assume, in Canada and the United States. So if you are interested in looking into math big ideas and learning more about those, this is a great resource for you to get. I think it comes in grade 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. I'm not 100% sure. I know that it does go up to grade 5 because they just released the grade 5 one, and I know that it does come in grade 3. I'm not sure if it comes in grade 1 and 2, but you could always check on Amazon. It was about $35, maybe $40. But again, I have no problem spending a lot of money on teacher books like this because it's a great one. But yeah, it goes different big ideas. So, and this one has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 different big ideas that you can focus on. And in each section, so this one is big idea 4, and its units are relationship. So in here, it gives you a little bit of a background on this, and every unit has this little chart. And in this chart, it talks to you about description, different prompts, and different materials that you'll need to create. It also has some information for the teacher, how to launch the activity, explore, and discuss. So this also kind of goes back to my 3-part lesson plan. We have the launch, which is the mind's on, your explore, which is your action, and then your discussion, which is your consolidation. Okay, so I'm just going to do a quick recap on my year and let you guys know how it went and some other fun things. So if you are new here, my name is Lydia. I already said that. And I am a teacher in Canada. I teach grade 4, and this past year I was at a brand new school that had just opened. My school was very, very small. We had basically one class of each grade, and some of the classes were super, super tiny. The grade 1 class this year had 11 students in it, and my class was the biggest in the school with 20. I kind of fluctuated between 21 to 24 throughout the school year. The demographic of my school, we have a lot of students that are new to Canada, so I lost a lot of students throughout the year, but I also gained a lot of students. So over the course of the year, I got 9 new students, but 6 of my students left. I also got 2 new, I got more than 2. I got 3 new students within the last 2 weeks of school. My school is it's a growing school, and I want to say that this past year was probably the school year that was the most fun for me. Overall, because we are a brand new school, we did have a lot of stuff to do. We pretty much kind of organized our routines and expectations for our students, which is great. And for the most part, I feel like the teachers at my school are just kind of trying to get their groove and figure out who they are, or what their identity is within the school. I am one of those people that likes to do everything plus everything somebody else is doing, because I am an overachiever. I know that. I've accepted that about myself, and I have realized after this year that in some cases you just got to take the back seat in things and let other people live their best life when certain things come up that need to get done in the school. So this year I did take a pretty big leadership role in certain situations or certain aspects of the school, but I did definitely do a lot less than I normally do, and I'm not mad about that. It was a year of learning. And I was also working with an administrator that I've worked with in the past. So I kind of knew what his expectations were, knew what his ideas are for the school, knew what his vision was, and was really able to kind of like embody his vision, I feel, and kind of jump right in head first, not being afraid, and kind of like doing stuff, which was super, super fun. I made a lot of friends this year. I am actually super excited because this is the first time, as weird as this sounds, I'm at a school where I have a community of people that I find really, really close friends to me, people that I actually enjoy being around, people that I like to hang out with outside of school, and people that really understand me as a person and accept me as a person, because I am a little bit crazy, I am a little bit wacky, and I am very extreme when it comes to teaching and being in my classroom. From an outsider looking in, you might think, hey, that girl is a nut job, but I'm just really passionate about what I do. And it's great to be at a school with teachers who are also super passionate about what they do. Second thing I wanted to talk about was my student teacher. Now, I've had a student teacher in the past, and I love having student teachers. The only thing is sometimes you get a dud. But I have been lucky, knock on all the wood, that my student teacher this year and my student teacher the last time I had one were amazing. So my student teacher this year, I'm not going to say what her name was because I don't know if she wants me to like put her name out there, but she was has been teaching for many years, but in the private system. So she wasn't a certified teacher, but she has had obviously training, education, and all that stuff in the background. So she finally decided to make it official and go to teachers college, and I was super, super excited to have her in my classroom. We bonded amazingly. She is so funny, and I feel like from what she told me, she learned a lot and I learned a lot from her, which is great. I use a lot of technology in my classroom, and I do a lot of open-ended tasks, and we like to do inquiry projects, and that was something new for my student teacher. So it was really fun getting to plan with her and kind of walk through the steps I take when I'm planning a unit or when I'm planning an activity for my class. And overall, she was just fantastic. She came back to visit at the end of the year, and my students were like, Miss K, like I want you to stay, blah, blah, all this stuff. Anyway, it was so super cute. I really hope that in the future, when she actually gets a job, that we can work together, because she was a great person to have in the classroom, and she was overall an awesome teacher, and I hope that she learned as much as I did while having her in my room. But yeah, overall, again, and that brings us to the final portion of the video, and that is what my teaching situation is going to be for next year. So, as I said before, my school is a brand new school, or was a brand new school, and we were a kindergarten to grade 5 school, but we are growing to a kindergarten to grade 8 school. What that means is that every year for the next 3 years, we will be gaining a new grade. So next year we have grade 6s at our school, which means we are getting a new grade 6 teacher. The next year after that, we will have grade 7s, which means we will need a grade 7 teacher. So we will be growing until we get to grade 8. Once we get to grade 8, obviously we stop growing, and we will just grow in the amount of classes in each grade. Anyway, that being said, this past year, I was a grade 4 teacher, and we had a grade 5 teacher. Myself and the grade 5 teacher became very, very close. We were very similar. We have very similar personalities, very similar work ethics, but we are also very different in what we bring to the classroom. So next year, when we have our grade 6 class, the grade 6 teacher will also be a friend of mine who was previously the music teacher. She has now moved into the grade 6 classroom. She has taught grade 6 before, and she is just coming off of maternity leave. Now, I have a grade 5 teacher who is a really close friend of mine, and then the grade 6 teacher is somebody that I've worked with in the past at my school 2 years ago, as well as this past year until she went on maternity leave. With that being said, next year I will be in a pod classroom, which a pod classroom usually is for 2 classrooms that are the same grade, and you end up having a team teacher, and you have a room that is usually the size of 2 rooms, and you would have about 60 kids in your room with 2 teachers, up to 60 kids in your room. So I will be teaching in a pod classroom next year, but because we are only kindergarten to grade 6 and we do only have 1 grade of each grade level, next year I will be in a pod classroom with a grade 4, 5, and 6 teacher. This is something completely new that our principal is allowing us to do, which is kind of exciting because I have always wanted to be in a pod, and I've worked with a team teacher before, but we weren't actually in a legitimate pod. And because we are doing a fully inquiry-based program, it will be really exciting to see how the grade 4s, 5s, and 6s develop throughout the year. This is also going to be really, really great because we have so many kids that have big differences in their strengths as students. We will be able to differentiate a little bit better because we will have 3 teachers in the classroom, and we won't have the kids by grade, but rather by ability. And as bad as that sounds, and I don't like to talk about kids having a certain ability in a classroom, it's more so to help those kids that are a little bit behind and give challenges to those kids that need it, that are a little bit ahead. And it's going to be an interesting ride. It's something that I have never done before. Like I said, I have team taught before, but never across different grade levels. I have taught grade 4 and grade 6. I've never taught grade 5. But it'll be an interesting learning experience. The other thing that we're super excited to do is that we are also, alongside our inquiry-based program, going to be running an integrated arts program because I am an artsy-fartsy kind of person, and we will be incorporating our school musical into our program, which is fantastic. We have not picked the musical officially yet, and we haven't purchased it officially, but we are leaning towards Peter Pan because the themes and ideas in Peter Pan really connect well with the Ontario curriculum for social studies and perspectives and all that kind of stuff. So I will keep you guys updated on the musical situation. I have done a musical 4 other times in the past. I love doing musicals, but I have never done a musical as part of my program. I've always just produced a musical as an extracurricular. So that is all I have to share with you guys for today in this very long video of me talking. Hopefully you guys either learned some new interesting things, saw some things that maybe you want to purchase, or just learned a little bit more about me if you wanted to learn more about me. But with that being said, I just wanted to say thank you as always for watching. If you did like the video, please like, comment, and subscribe. I know that there's not that many of you right now, but I do love talking to you guys when you do comment or you do send me messages on Instagram. I will talk to you guys later. I will see you in my next video. If you have any requests for videos, please let me know. I will see you guys later. Bye.